to Learning with Miss G for another fun story day. Are you ready for a fun story about a tooth fairy? Have you ever seen a tooth fairy? What does a tooth fairy leave if the tooth fairy takes your tooth? It usually leaves money, right? So we're going to read a story about the night before the tooth fairy to see what happens with this little friend. Okay, are you ready to read? Let's make sure we have our listening ears and our eyes. Let me see those hands. Clap, clap, clap. Put them on your ears. Tap, tap, tap. And turn up your listening ears. Doot, 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 doot. Let's see those hands again. Wiggle those fingers. Wiggle, 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 wiggle those fingers. Point to your eyes. Now you have those eyes to watch Miss G, and you have those ears all ready to listen and hear a great story. Let's read The Night Before a Tooth Fairy. It's written by Natasha Wing. That's the author. And the artwork is by Johansson Newman. That's the illustrator who draws the pictures. The Night Before the Tooth Fairy. 'Twas the night before the Tooth Fairy would come to take my tooth. I've been so excited ever since it got loose. He said loose because one of his teeth was missing and it was hard to say the word. My bottom tooth was dangling and twisting about. Tonight was the night. It just had to come out. I wiggled it and waggled it for such a long while. My baby brother flashed me his funny, toothless smile. The baby brother looked so funny without his teeth there. Mom handed me an apple. She said, "Here, take a bite." No, because if I swallow it, guess who won't come tonight? He was afraid to swallow the tooth because then the tooth fairy wouldn't come. Dad said, "Let's yank it out with a doorknob and string." No way, no how, I told him. You're not gonna do a thing. He didn't like that idea much. Then my brother grabbed our kitten, which scared our cockapoo, who knocked me right over and out my tooth flew. Oh no, his tooth flew out. My brother looked around the floor on his hands and his knees. When he found it, picture time. We smiled and I yelled, cheese. Then I ran to the mirror and what did I see? A cool gap in my smile where my tooth used to be. I could stick a straw through it, then sip up my drink, or pretend I'm a fountain and spray water in the sink. He's learning all kinds of tricks to do because that tooth is gone. All righty, said Mom, time to climb into bed, or the tooth fairy may visit some other house instead. My tooth was put under my pillow with care and hoped that the tooth fairy soon would be there. And he left a note by his lamp. Tooth fairy, look under my pillow. I hopped in and nestled all snug in my bed while visions of fairyland danced in my head. Then what to my wondering eyes should appear but a twinkling glow? Oh, I wonder what that is. The tooth fairy was here. Her wand, how it glittered. Her dimples, how merry. Her wings were so sparkly, so light, and so airy. Oh, she's a fancy tooth fairy. She reached under my pillow. I pretended to be sleeping. She slipped my tooth in a pouch where it stayed for safekeeping. I kept one eye open as she fluttered around. Then poof, she was gone without making a sound. I dug under my pillow and felt something funny. All right, the tooth fairy left me some money. He was pretty excited about that money. Look what I got, I yelled with a hoop and a holler. The Tooth Fairy gave me a brand spanking new dollar. Ooh, he got a whole dollar, guys. That woke up my brother, who started to cry. When Dad picked him up, we could see why. I wonder why his brother started to cry. Now my brother and I both have a new grin. My first tooth came out and his first tooth came in. So now they both have new smiles. And that, my friends, is the end of The Night Before the Tooth Fairy. I hope you enjoyed this book. If you did, just like this video and subscribe because I have lots more books to read to you. I have one about how you catch a tooth fairy. I think you would like that one. Let's sing our goodbye song and I'll see you next time right here in Storytime with Miss G. It's time to say goodbye. It's time to say goodbye. Wave your hand. Did you wave? And wink your eye. Did you wink? It's time to say goodbye. Goodbye, my friends. I'll see you next time right here in Storytime with Miss G.